Uh, we're recording. Okay, guys. First of all, welcome back to another year of comps. I actually don't know if we can do emojis or like anything like that with Zoom. I'm too used to Google Meets. But yeah, we're back. We're back for another year of competitions. Another year of building stuff, figuring out something that doesn't work, fixing it again. And we're excited to bring to you another session, another set of sessions to basically sink your teeth into. Regardless if this is your first time participating in competitions, first time you've heard about UKSEDS, or if it's you're a seasoned veteran. I've seen a couple names I kind of recognize as well, who will have participated in competitions before. So again, fantastic to have you guys here. We're looking forward to going through stuff with you today. So with that, let's see if my slides are working okay. So cool. Just to let you all know, this is being recorded. If you do not want to have your face shown or anything like that, please keep your cameras off. That's completely fine. And we'll make sure that you're not included in any of the recorded sections. That's completely okay. David, can you monitor the chat for me, basically, just in case anybody asks any questions? Because I'm not sure if I
Yeah, of
open this
course, mate.
up, can you see this meeting chat?
Nope, you're good, yeah.
Okay, cool. Then I'm fine to do that then. Cool. So I'll do that for all good then. So let's jump straight in quickly on the agenda side. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick welcome and introductions to the competitions as well. What's changed this year? We've introduced a couple new ways of how we're going to be organizing competitions this year. A lot of not standardization, but trying to bring things together. So there are familiarities between the different competitions and the methodologies applied. We'll go into that a little bit as well. Then we've got an hour with the individual competitions teams. You'll be able to select the individual breakout rooms you go into. We'll go into that very briefly as well. Then we'll have some final comments, a little bit of wrap up stuff as well, a little bit of information on the rules and regulations broadly across the whole of the competitions group. And then we will wrap up with just giving you the links to be able to register as well. I think that is everything. Without further ado, let's jump in to the welcome and the competition's introduction. So just a quick background about UKSEDS. If you've not heard about UKSEDS before, which I doubt, because I think a lot of people here probably have heard of people now. Our general aim, of course, is to improve the knowledge base, the skill set, and the hands-on ability of students across the UK. As well as that, offer them networking opportunities, offer them the chance to empower and grow themselves into the space professionals that they want to become, or if they're just passionate about space, giving them a network and a group where they can communicate and talk to that about. That is what UKSEDS does. And it is run by students for students. I'm a rare person in that because I'm not really a student anymore as of last year. There are a couple of us. So that is generally a little bit about UKSEDS. So what we want to be doing as well, I mean, of course, we want to grow further, but already at this point, we've got over 1,500 members across numerous different branches within the UK. We have the annual National Student Space Conference events as well, which will be held in March later this year. But then, of course, what you're here for is the competitions. So we'll move on from that as well. A little bit, again, the same information, empowering you guys with the networking opportunities to develop your careers in space, develop your networks in space, and your skill sets. And that is, again, so comps wants to help your skill sets, gives you the practical opportunities to develop the key skills that you need for a career in space, especially on the technical side, as well as the writing side, the incubation of ideas side as well. I would get murdered if I didn't mention this. So if you want to win, or the chance to win a £20 Amazon gift voucher, please fill in the diversity team survey. I have not been threatened to share this, I promise. So the diversity team do an extremely important bit of work in order to ensure that the UKSEDS group wide evenly distributes and proportionally distributes representation, and also empowers other individuals who may not necessarily feel like they can step up to everybody else's plate. And we want to ensure that we've created a good shared environment for everybody in this in this community. That is what UKSEDS wants to be, a shared positive environment for everybody. And it would be fantastic if you can fill that in. You've got a QR code right there. If you want, you can fill this in right now. It shouldn't take you long. It should take, I mean, it will take you a couple minutes to go through. And at the end of the day, if you want a free Amazon gift voucher, this is a good chance to get one. As well as that, they're offering some free tickets potentially to their upcoming conference as well. I'm not sure when the date is set for that, but if you fill this in, you'll have a chance to win some free conference tickets to that as well. Cool. Then, moving on, well, let's do a little bit of memories of what we've done this year. I definitely didn't make this video, and I'm definitely not very proud proud of it. Let's have a little look. Are you guys able to hear the audio, by the way?
No.
We haven't got audio on that one, Josh.
I think he might.
Josh,
Yo, what's up, David?
we haven't got audio on that one.
You haven't got audio.
No.
Let me share. How do I share audio as well?
I
There's a little
suspect
ticky box
stop sharing
when
your
you share
screen
your
and
screen.
reshare it, and then there'll
Right,
be a
let me
tick
do
box.
that. There we go. Selfie on the road.
He's our project manager. He's kind of cool.
There we go.
You're good.
Cool. So there you go. That was a couple fantastic memories from last year. Again, thank you to all. I saw a couple volunteers smiling there a little bit because they could see themselves in those in those videos as well. It's fantastic to sort of look back and reflect positively on all the fantastic stuff that happened last year with our teams, and also some of you guys as well who participated in those competitions. And again, as cheesy as it sounds, we're looking forward to creating some brand new memories in 2024 and 2025. And when we create another video in future for this event, we'll be able to share those memories again with you guys and just share what a positive experience that you guys have been part of creating with us in actually giving new people a chance to create new skills, new opportunities for themselves. And this is what we want to do for you. And it's something that we're all very passionate about, developing and empowering students across the UK. So thank you again for everybody who was involved in 2023 and 2024. And we're looking forward to having you guys on with us in 2024 and 2025. So moving on from that
He's
as
our
well,
project manager.
a little bit quickly into the team itself, on the central side at least. The sub-teams will introduce themselves later on in the breakout rooms. But yeah, competitions team itself. Centrally, there's me. Hi, I'm Josh. I'm a Josh, and that's a David. So Josh is the competitions lead. David is the competitions vice team lead. We've also got Lionel Correa, who's joined us on the competitions wide volunteering as well recently. We three will be overseeing the general organization for some of the competitions as well as supporting as and when we can. So we kind of fill in as and when we can because the individual teams are very, very busy. And therefore we can try and support here and there. If you have any questions or concerns you need to bring up to comps management, you can get in touch with us at these emails, or you can get in touch with us on our normal emails, such as joshua.finn@ukseds.org. You can get in touch with us that way too. That is the general way to get in touch with us. Our team in general, oh, never mind, not our team. So these are the general competitions we'll be running this year, as you can probably see. We've got all of them are returning from National Rocketry Championships, the Olympus Rover Trials, the In-Orbit Servicing and Manufacturing Competition, and the Satellite Design Competition as well. So all 4 of these competitions are running. Of course, you see a 5th image in our section as well, which is to represent MAC. MAC is technically separate at the moment from UKSEDS, so they will potentially be launching separately. Just keep your ears to the ground about that, and then they'll be announcing stuff in the near future, hopefully as well. So our team, yeah, there's a lot of us. This is a couple of our images, not all of us actually. So some of us are still missing some of the photos that we'll be adding as well. But as you can see, I think there's about 27 of us in total at the moment. So we're a very large team. I think this is the largest competitions has ever been. We've been trying to grow to ensure that we can bring on more and more teams in future, give you guys more opportunities to communicate with us, collaborate with us, and also to ask us questions. When you've got questions, thoughts, or concerns about any of the competition's teams, having more of us here to be able to volunteer our time, no doubt will help us ensure that we can answer your questions faster. So a little bit then as to why to compete, why compete in comps, what is the value in building a something which is going to go up a couple 100 kilometers, well, 100 meters, or go up, or even a satellite. What's the point in designing any of these model products? So it's very hard to get experience. It's very hard to get experience in the space industry. Space is a very inward hiring industry. It's very much about a network, but it's also about getting the skill set in the first place. People don't really, it's very difficult to get skills later on in your career as well. And it's very difficult even to get experience. A lot of the volunteers in this call can attest to that. Getting the chance to get experience has been very difficult. I caught myself from swearing, but it's nigh on impossible sometimes. UKSEDS Competitions offers you the free chance to get technical experience building and collaborating within a team. According to any groups that you talk to who analyze skills in the space sector, Space Skills Alliance, Space Careers, and partly UKSEDS as well, will tell you that getting hands-on team working skills is a key must in order to be able to look appealing to future career prospectors. So anybody who is trying to employ you will be looking to see, have you done external competitions before? Have you done technical hands-on work or products that you've made or that you've been hands-on involved in? So as an engineer, it's really important to get key experience, and competitions provides that more or less for free at a very, very low price. And there is no application level. You don't have to apply to get in. So yeah, and the real engineering experience. It is probably a lot of, it was my first time really in a team environment. A lot of universities don't necessarily do team group projects anymore. The reason they don't do them is because everybody complains about them. Because half the time people don't really like the products that they're making, or they're not very interested in the design work. We're giving you the chance to design things that you want to make, be it rovers, satellites, rockets, crazy things, or creating research papers and bid projects with and pitches with IOSM as well. And lastly, why else compete but space? David added that. So yeah, space. I think it's fair to say at this point in time we're all probably space.
What's your
So
favorite
that
thing
is
about
probably the
space? Go into space. Can't wait, guys.
if any of you know Portal 2, then I think you'll appreciate that. David again showing his age. So the Yeah, I said it. I said it. Yeah, so again, I think we're all space nerds here. We want to do stuff that's space related. It's very hard to actually get space opportunities to do anything in space because there isn't actually a specific space degree for bachelors. There are some for masters, but it's very hard at the bachelor's level to get key space experience doing space competitions. But that's what we're providing. That's what we're offering. So, and yeah, just to add on to that as well, don't take our word for it. Take the word of our industry partners, past participants again within the competitions as well. There is a clear interest in the competitions themselves, and they look very fondly at people who've who've been involved in the competitions. It's a clear feather in one's cap to have been involved in competitions within the UK, and it's a very positive experience. And even personally for myself, it was one of the first things that I shared when I was looking for experience, that I was involved in the Olympus Rover trials as a team lead back in 2020. It was something that I could advertise to people and say that this was something that I was doing, and it was something that I think helped me get my job that I have now. I mean, other participants who've been volunteers as well. So Tom as well has been involved in competitions within NRC. Ollie, who now heads Ollie and Amir, even who now heads the Olympus Rover trials, were also participants in the competition previously as well. So there is a clear positive value that's not just seen personally, but also externally as well. And that's something that is very important to consider when participating. So, let's go a little bit into what's changed this year, what is going to be happening with some of the new documentation, and how things are going to be looking a bit different. As I mentioned beforehand, we were going to be altering a couple little bits as well. So just generally as just a quick summary on as what I said before, we want to give students the chance to build practical products, build things which are, and get your practical hands-on experience. And then get the experience working on a product in of itself. So having the chance to work hands-on, again, as I said before, is something that the employers will be looking very, very eagerly for in their participants in future and their future employees. And to give you the chance to, I guess, think like engineers as well. It's very hard to feel like you're thinking like an engineer when you're sitting in a lecture room with another 100 or so people and you're writing down notes with very complex maths, which doesn't necessarily seem like it's going to be very applicable to your work. Having a group project like this going on the side gives you the chance to apply that maths, to apply the solid mechanics you learn, I mean, potentially even fluid mechanics for NRC, for any electronics you may be doing as well, or even any other soft skills, for example, any writing, if you're in the creative elements as well, if you're looking at to doing creative writing, even the IOSM side is something that is very very important to that, and even the document writing as well. That is something that'd be very critical. So that is what we want to do. We want to give you the chance to think like people who are building stuff for space. So the way that we're changing the documentation this year, there is no longer just going to be one document per se. It's not just going to be the rules and requirements document. We are trying to link it much closer to industry, and we're taking a standard which is commonly observed across space primes. The format that we're taking is applied across Airbus, it's applied across OHB, Thales Alenia Space, Leonardo. The way that we want to structure this is much closer to basically to how systems engineers, to how electronics engineers, hardware engineers, software engineers are all working in the space sector. And the documents that they see, we want you to get experience doing that as well. I'll give a little bit of an overview as well. So no longer one rules and requirements document. The way we've generally split it across the board is a requirement specification, a statement of work, and the rule book. So requirement specification has essentially a list of all the requirements that you're going to be adhering to throughout the competition. The statement of work implies much more of the creative side as to what is going on within the competition. It highlights a bit more about the competition day itself and what you will be doing. It also tells you a little bit as to the timeline and the deliverables as well. That should all be fleshed out very soon for all the competitions as well. So ensuring that all of the timeline is put in place, the statement of work. And the rulebook itself tells much more about the I mean, obviously that's not something that's, I mean, Airbus doesn't hand out a rule book when they're when people are bidding for any of their products. It's not quite that. That is a UKSEDS specific document. It's about team eligibility. It's about making sure that you're sizing the teams. It's about support. It's about any regulations that you need to adhere to from UKSEDS as well, such as plagiarism and numerous other areas as well. So those are the three documents that you will generally be providing. Other competitions will also be providing other documents as well, so they'll have slightly different formats. So IOSM, of course, has a rulebook and challenges. I think the NRC will have an extra document as well with the missions requirements document. So that's how we're going to be splitting it this year. It's all kind of separated. So just a quick example of a requirement you'll see just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, and we've covered this quite quickly. This is kind of what you're going to see with a requirement going forwards. And it looks quite basic, but there's all this extra fluff that doesn't seem to be very important and looks kind of complex. But we're going to go through that very quickly for you guys now, just to make sure that you've got a clear awareness of it. We're also going to make some resources available for you guys in the future as well, which we'll go into more detail about to help with that as well. So let's get the information on this as well. So what we've got here is the requirement number. This is essentially linking to the document. So ORT is the Olympus Rover Trials, RS is requirement specification, S and M will likely stand for, I believe, structural and mechanical, and then 001. So this is the number of the requirement. So this is the first requirement that's occurring within this section. Generally, as a rule, in industry, people will be referring to requirement numbers much more than a requirement name. And this allows you to be able to trace and track requirements across numerous different documents. When you're dealing with complex systems, things get very, very big and things get lost very quickly. It's very easy for information to be lost, but having a number to refer to a requirement instead of using the whole sentence, it's much easier to refer to it. And instead of having to copy and paste the requirements definition or information every single time, you can refer to the number and then refer to the document. It will make your lives a lot easier. This is the revision number. So revision A means it's the first revision of the of that requirement. If the requirement has been changed, it means that it'll go to B, and then C and D and so forth. So as the requirement has to be iterated upon or changed, it'll be this number will change. So if you see C here, you know there have been two versions prior of this requirement as well. So it's been edited. Any changes to documentation will be made will be announced to you guys as well. So if we've made any technical changes to any documents, any adjustments to any of the requirements, you will be informed. Then you got the requirement title. This gives you just a general idea, just to quickly catch you as to what it is, what this requirement is talking about. It's talking about mass. The text itself is saying the integrated rover shall have a combined mass of no more than 5 kilograms. This is giving you a concrete limit as to what the requirement or what the mass is essentially for your rover. It's not going over. It cannot go over that. If you do, they'll probably it's at the discretion of the Olympus Rover Trials. But they'll have some penalty process in place if you do not meet this requirement. Anything that's in that document that says shall is a very important word in engineering. Means that it is a requirement that is essentially a must. It is you are bound to actually meet that requirement. It's not a should, it is a shall. That is something that you have to essentially to comply with. So that's something to note. The text in the documents and the text in requirements is important to note. Then quickly, verification methods. We'll go into that a little bit. But actually, no, I'm going to go into parent first. Any requirement that has any properties that it inherits from previous requirement will have the parent requirement noted here. So that means that you can go back to that previous requirement and see what's being inherited. This is again something that's done very commonly in systems engineering. It's something where you want to make sure that you see your requirements are linked. So for example, if there was a mass limit for another component that had to be in there, there would be this requirement could become the parent of a sub requirement. So therefore this number here would then be linked here. So if there was a parent requirement for this and it was known as ORT RS SM005, you would see ORT RS SM005 here, and they'll be linked. Now, this bit here, the verification and validation methods, we're going to go into very quickly, is how you're going to verify that you are compliant with this requirement. Now, on the next slide, we've got a couple here. So you see I and A here. I stands for inspection and A stands for analysis. So before your test, for example, before actually building the rover, you may actually be analyzing the your product as well, and you can have a 3D model or a CAD model of your product, for example, and do an analysis, seeing the combined mass of it. But then on the day, you'll be inspected. These are the 4 methods of verification that we'll be using throughout the competition. So inspection, analysis, demonstration, and test. Feel free to take a screenshot of this as well as to see the understanding of these. These are the industry preferred, the general industry accepted methods of verification. So inspection, again, physical examination using one or more of the 5 senses. So if you're touching, if you're lifting or grabbing, that is generally the way that you'll be doing inspection. Analysis is using models, calculations to provide a prediction of the system's compliance or what it's going to do. Demonstration, it could be literally demonstrating an action. So it could be you press a button and you see something physically do something. That would be a demonstration. Now, a test is a bit more complex because you are going to be recording data and demonstrating the data. So it's using a test procedure that you'd be writing, performing the test, and then taking the test results and seeing if that matches what you're expecting. So it sounds a little bit complicated. There is a lot, that's quite surface level, but the general aim is to try and ensure that you guys are thinking much more about, when you're designing your product, how you're going to verify the individual requirements going forwards. Cool. So with that, I think we're pretty much on schedule. Well, no, we're 2 minutes behind. So now we're going to jump into the individual competition sections. So very quickly, I'll do a quick explanation as to how we're going to do that. So on the subs team stage itself, we've got 4 breakout rooms. Each individual breakout room you are invited to join. So if you want to join into the satellite design competitions breakout room, that'll be, I believe that's named, and you'll be able to join them. If you want to join the ORT one, you can go and select them as well. So you'll have the autonomy. We're not going to put you into the rooms themselves. You need to be able to go into those rooms. David, so actually, which buttons do they need to actually press to go into the rooms? Can you explain that very
It
quickly?
should pop up on the screen, otherwise there'll be an option at the bottom for breakout rooms with them all listed there in just a second once Josh has finished explaining.
Okay, perfect. So yes, 4 breakout rooms, you'll have the option. So all, as simple as it is, you'll have a button list come up, you'll press a button and you'll join that room. So the tech, it's not a random one, so they'll have the names for it as well. It should be relatively straightforward. If you're having any issues or anything like that, message me or David, and we'll be able to assign you to a rooms ourselves manually as well. I think that's all good. In that point, I think we can move into the sub teams. We all good, David?
Yeah, all good. They should be opening in just a second.
Fantastic. Aha. Has everybody got the list?
Yeah, that's popped up, Josh. There's a question for you in the chat, by the way.
Aha. So if you want to know about more than one competition, you are able to leave the room after a period of time and then rejoin it. If you have a particular one that you're very interested in that you want to, so if you have a preference that you want to learn about first, the individual competition teams will be recording their sessions as well. So you'll be able to see the recorded sessions as well. You have an hour, so you'll be able to jump in and go straight in and ask some questions as well. So this entire session is quite long, so you'll have plenty of time if you would like to leave Taran and rejoin another group, if that would be your preference. Would that be okay, David? That works, does it? Cool. Is that okay, Taran? Is that all good? Perfect. Oh, and Amir, I've seen your message as well. If you're unable to attend the whole meeting, you might see this as well. You may have already jumped away. We'll share the link on Google Drive to all of the emails that signed up, so you'll be able to see it that way. Cool. So has everybody got access to the meeting rooms?
There are 6 who are still with us. Now 5, 4, 3.
There's Jack.
Jack and
Lionel, of course, is with
Tejas.
us as well.
Yeah, just 2.
Samir. I think Samir just joined. So just a quick.
Samir's not on my list of unassigned breakout rooms.
She seems to be. Or she's about to join the team, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh, she's got maybe. I don't know.
Sorry,
maybe-
how do I access the breakout rooms?
Oh, hi,
There
Jack.
should be a little. There should have been a pop-up. Otherwise, at the bottom is a 4 squares icon with breakout rooms. Which should let you pick which one to go to. Otherwise, if there's one specifically you want to go to, I can put you into a specific one.
Oh, I think I found it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've got it. Thank you.
No worries.
Cool. So we've got 2 other people in this call then still. We've got Tejas and we've got David. Are you guys struggling to join any rooms, or would you like us to add you to any of them, or?
I think David is part way through joining somewhere.
Okay.
I know. No, he's not. My bad. That's my bad.
In that case, it may be worth. So it's probably worth stopping recording this section now, isn't it?
Agree. Yeah.
I'll pause. Yes. Cool. Right, that's all good. Alinka, Ali, are you guys on the line at the moment, or are you?
Yes, we are. It's just thank you for recording right now. I'm gonna have to re-record again the entire PowerPoint presentation that I've prepared today. There's been some technical issues and also maybe the time thing, but it's all right. May
Go
I start or like?
Yeah, go for it. You've got a couple slides, so we've got about, I'd say, around 5 minutes. We can run through that if that's okay.
Yes, I'm trying to do a speed run after trying to talk and recording for more than half of an hour. Hi guys, I'm the team lead from the In-Orbit Servicing and Manufacturing Competition for 2024-2025 edition. What we are trying to do as IOSM team is promote business and technical aspects into the industry. So if you see my team right here, we are people actually working right now, for example, recent graduates or people still staying in the academia. We have like expertise, let's say, from both of the fields to make sure that we can help people get an idea of what a startup means in the space sector. And that's what actually our competition this year is promoting, getting to know how to build a startup in the space industry. And it's aimed for everyone, engineers, physicians, business people, even law students, for anyone, because in-orbit servicing and manufacturing helps you out identifying new trends in the industry, helps you to understand what things you have to predict for the future, what things you need to target every single time when you want to promote your idea or your project to be heard by as many people you would like to hear it as possible. Kind of a definition, we want to design and pitch emerging fields. We want a multidisciplinary team. And we want to combine knowledge, not just to go for, let's say, just coding or just designing in CAD. We want also for you to be able to identify risks, be able to go and search through websites for materials or components that you would like to include in your project, and be able to not anticipate, but like say, is it going to be feasible in the next 5 years or not? Should I just like change my project entirely? Or should I try to identify something else, maybe more relevant to what the people want nowadays? Because it's also important to know what project you would like to do, so people can help you out. You can network. You can also gain whatever you wish to achieve, recognition, or like money, or even some the opportunity to have your own startup itself in the space industry. And it's going to be interesting, for example, if your project is lunar related, but it's not going to be yet feasible for a Mars project. Can I get the next slide, please?
Yeah, you can get the next slide. You can just ask.
Yeah, it's fine. We're going to be a bit different than anyone else in the competition, because we do have actually 3 challenges. One of them is mostly like getting used to what IOSM could be and the startup itself in the space industry could be. Challenge 2 is more like develop your ideas and make sure they also get approved by people in the industry, like experts. And the third challenge is mostly you will have to prepare a PowerPoint and a poster and be able to present it in one day in person at a still to be decided location. We want to promote PowerPoints and also posters. We want to make sure that they are as like much in the scoring as possible, because what's been identified in the last years as what people or like recruiters want, and that's also for the space industry, they want people who are able to communicate and initiate and also present their projects in more approachable ways than just, for example, submitting a report every single time, as we're used in the as students in academia. They want to make sure, for example, that you are able to do a poster and go to a conference, or if you have a very important client, you can do a PowerPoint and you can prove your point why they should choose you and not anyone else. Next slide, please.
I think, have we got another slide in the pack here? Do you want me to share another slide very quickly for you?
Yes.
Which slide do you want?
I will go just for the support and how to get onto our website.
Cool. Support, it's at the very bottom, is it?
Yeah.
This one? There you go, contact support.
Yeah, contact and support. If you know anyone, and doesn't matter the degree, or doesn't matter even if they are graduate and they still can be eligible for UKSEDS, I recommend you email us if you would like, for example, to have a team, or like do register, try to register on our website, as you have a QR code here. At this point, like even if you are alone by yourself and you don't know anyone, for example, in the entire university, or you don't have friends necessarily who would be interested in emerging things, servicing, manufacturing in orbit, we will try to make sure that this year we can make as many teams as possible, and we can connect you with other people from other universities or like places that they feel again alone, and they might feel that you actually can work out together to try and get this experience. Don't forget, this is for free, and this helps you promote and develop some skills that maybe you didn't learn in the university, and you could find it very helpful to put it in your CV.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for doing that very quick speed run of IOSM, and thank you for getting the name out there again. I'll just quickly jump to the slideshow again. So yeah, again, if you have any more questions or ideas about IOSM, please get in touch with their team as well. They're fantastic, and they're very excited to bring a great event again this year too. So Last bits on the agenda. We've got a couple final little bits. I think we've got a bit of a boring bit here to go through. Plagiarism. Of course, we take this very seriously, and I just want to make the mention here right now. We'll talk about more positive things. Report. This is essentially the baseline of the key points for our plagiarism policy. We have an established policy that we will be making sure is available to you guys as well when you're writing your documentation. Copy text, diagrams from previous years, external references all have to be cited. Any text and diagrams that were created for specifically for a publication or something that you did for a previous year cannot be used. So, for example, if you have an ORT image from 2020 to 2021, you can't use that in 2021 to 2022. You need to be using new work. That's the important thing. We want to ensure that you're not bringing the same rover each year and year upon year. We want to ensure that you're innovating, because that means, I mean, the otherwise the problem is that the people who are missing out are you guys, because if you're not creating the new documents themselves, you're not getting that experience, and that's fundamentally what this is. Again, at the end of the day, it's nice to win, it's nice to get a prize or something like that, but the experience here, regardless, it's not necessarily the winners of the competition that are going to be the people who are standing out. It's participating in the first place and talking about the challenges that you go through. So it's really, really critical that you take every chance you can to learn as much as you can, rather than necessarily copying and taking away from previous documents as well. So that's quickly covering plagiarism. Positive thing. UKSEDS is looking at creating more and more training courses. We have what we like to call now the UKSEDS Academy. We have 3 courses that are currently live, and we're adding to them as well. We want to try and equip you with more and more knowledge and information centralized in one location that you can use and refer to for the competitions going forwards. When you're writing documents for PDRs, when you're making design decisions, trade-offs, making sure that you're handling rocketry safely, doing any coding, for example, we want to ensure that you've got a clear set of training courses available to you at your fingertips, which are designed specifically with the competitions in mind, so we can help you and support you growing on that. So we've got 3 courses there currently, and we'll be adding to them quite regularly as well. As I mentioned before, there's a systems engineering training course coming along as well. There's electronics, a PCB design course as well, and there'll be more and more added as we go as well, coming along. Right, I think, yes, as I said, more to come. With that, just to remind the side for registration closing on the 26th of October. Now, what we're going to do is a quick little run through of actually how to register, because we want to make sure that it's very clear how we do it. It could be because we're not using a Google form this year, we're using Eventbrite, and we're hoping that this will allow us to make sure we've got everybody's emails in the teams. The challenge that we've had sometimes is if the team lead or the vice team lead has left the competition, we don't know if we can get in touch with anybody else in the competitions. We therefore want to make sure that we've managed to track everybody's emails, so it's easier to actually have a record of who's actually participating in the team at certain times. So I'm going to then, at this point, go and give an example. So let's go to UKSEDS Competitions, and let's see if you can you see my screen still? Fantastic.
Yep.
So we've got all the different options here. So let's go to the NRC page. And we'll see here, if we go down to the National Rocketry Championship page, you have a register link here. So you'll be able to register directly onto their pages right here, or you can go to the Eventbrite link directly. So what you will do is you will, if you've got a team, for example, of 10, and you've got a team lead and you've got a vice team lead and you've got your team members, you will say 1 team lead, 1 vice team lead, and then 8 team members. And therefore you've got all these tickets basically, which is totaling. Again, this is all completely, believe this is all free, but it is all free. So going on here, this gives you the contact information that you want to add. Then if I click through, are we happy for me to click register here then?
Yeah, go for it, Josh.
I'll just remove it after, don't worry about it.
Perfect. So upon registering, you get the order successful, and then that creates the order. And then you'll have a list here of all the information you need to put in for your team. So you add your team name, your society, so university society, and your university or company organization as well. And then you go through all of the individual members and make sure we add all of their names and their information. So what you can say here, so copy data, you can copy the data potentially from someone else, but if you've got your vice team lead, you add their first name, you add their surname, and you give their email address, and then you give your company organization, and then for every single participant within your team, you add them. Now, in future, if you need to add more people to the team, you can do that kind of two ways, more or less. I think the easiest way would either be to go back onto this and add and apply for new tickets, which are non-team members. No,
Just email the
email us.
competition. Yep.
So if you want to do it in the easier way, the better way to do that then is to just email us, and we can add people onto your contact. But you need to be providing us their email address and their first name and surname, so we can make sure that we can be in contact with them and add them to any mailing lists. But quite simply, so if you went through here, you would add all the information, and then you go through, and then you press complete order. Let it load because it'll take a second, and then once it's done, everybody should get a confirmation email through saying that they've been registered. That's correct, is it? Cool. Is there anything else that you need me to fill in for that, Tom?
Just to add to that, if you're a committee member at a society and you want to be on the mailing list, but you don't necessarily want to be a member of the team, that's fine. For now, just drop us an email at the relevant competition email. So for us, it would be rocketry@ukseds.org. Longer term, we'll probably try and sort of like a mailing list button on the website that you can put an email into and register. But that's not quite set up yet. So just drop us an email and then we'll make sure you're added to the list manually. So if you don't want to be part of the team, essentially, don't fill yourself in as a team member, but just drop us an email for the time being.
Cool. And then just on that, I guess the other thing we should probably share with them is where they can find the training courses as well. So leave. All the training courses can be found if you go to get involved under competitions. You can find all the training courses which we put here. So these are the current 3 that we have, and we'll be adding to them as well regularly going forwards too. I don't think there is a sign-up list of when you can be notified of when something happens, but we can usually announce if anything's happened on the CompsWide via a CompsWide email. So you have 3 courses at the moment that you can be getting involved in. We'll be adding to them again, and we'll be ensuring that we have more and more resources available to you as well, where we'll be able to upload stuff. The recording for this will be sent out as well. We'll figure out the best way to give you guys all access, but we'll likely once we've downloaded it and recorded and made sure we're all happy with it, we will take a download and put it onto Google Drive, and we'll share the link for you guys, so you should be able to access it that way. Cool. I think then that more or less covers everything. So in that point, are there any questions left for anybody? Any questions? I think that's no questions. Aha. If the situation arises, so yes, there is no reason why not.
Yeah.
So the
Again, just get in touch with the organizing team.
Yeah, again, so it's essentially getting in touch with the organizing team and letting us know. You know, I mean, team members may drop out again at the same time. So again, because this is quite a long, of course, it's the competitions themselves, it's quite a long process. So we want to ensure that everybody can really participate and make sure that the entire, because some people will have to drop out and some people may join back in. Just let us know. We need to know, therefore, actually who's actually within your team to make sure that we've got the capacities as needed for each individual going forwards. Cool. Any other questions? No worries, Micah. There's got to be more questions. Had 2 hours of information just like thrown at you.
I think that's part of the problem is information overload at this point.
Okay. Okay. Right then. I think then if there are no more questions, does any of the other volunteers have anything they want to add at this point? Are we all good?
If any questions do occur to you, please don't hesitate to email any of the teams or Josh or myself and Lionel at Comps Management.
Access to the recordings. So getting access to the recordings, Micah, will be emailed out. So because we have the emails that have registered for the for this, what we'll do is we will make sure that at first, once we've got the recordings all sorted, we will email them to you. Well, we'll email a link to you on the Google Drive, so you'll be able to access.
We'll probably also put them onto the website.
We will, yeah, but the first thing to do will be to get them onto the drive first, and then we'll make sure you've got access that way, and then we'll resolve getting them onto the website. Cool. Any other questions? Right. In that case, then, I think we can leave it with 8 minutes to spare. In that case, guys, thank you guys very much for joining in today. It's been fantastic having you all here. David's very happy, clearly. And we're looking the answer to which best competition is what, Tom, I think he can't be helped. He can't be helped. So I'm gonna quote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You're really not gonna like the answer, Tom. Yeah, kick Tom. That's power. Right. Thank you guys very much for joining us today. It's been fantastic having you guys for the morning. Please, again, don't hesitate to get in touch if you have any more questions. Let us know. And yeah, looking forward to another year of competitions. Cool. Take care, guys. Bye.
Take care, folks. Have a great weekend.
Mm-hmm.